Bruny Island Tasmanian, or Nuenonne. Nyunoni, a name shared with Southeast Tasmanian, is an aboriginal language, a pair of languages of Tasmania in the reconstruction of Claire Bowern. It was spoken on Bruny Island, off the southeastern coast of Tasmania, by the Bruny tribe. Bruny Island Tasmanian is attested in a list of 986 words collected by Joseph Milligan, published 1857 and 1859. In 515 words collected by George Augustus Robinson, in 273 words from Charles Sterling, and in 111 words from R. A. Roberts, published 1828. The Milligan vocabulary is divergent, and falls out as a distinct language when the lists are compared at p less than 0.15. Though it falls together with the rest of the island at a looser criterion of p less than 0.20. Sample text. The following is recorded as a prayer collected on Bruny Island in Robinson's diaries. The first line is the Robinson's transcription, followed by a reconstruction of what Robinson may have heard, and finally an English gloss. History. The last speaker of Bruny Island was likely Nyunoni, who is also widely accepted as the last full-blooded Tasmanian Aborigine. She was a daughter of Nyunoni, chief of the Bruny Island people. Her name was the word her tribe used to describe the grey salt bush Atriplex cinerea. In her youth she took part in her people's traditional culture, but Aboriginal life was disrupted by European invasion. When Lieutenant Governor George Arthur arrived in Van Diemen's Land in 1824, he implemented two policies to deal with the growing conflict between settlers and the Aborigines. First, bounties were awarded for the capture of Aboriginal adults and children, and secondly, an effort was made to establish friendly relations with Aborigines in order to lure them into camps. The campaign began on Bruny Island, where there had been fewer hostilities than in other parts of Tasmania. When Nyunoni met George Augustus Robinson, the protector of Aborigines, in 1829, her mother had been killed by sailors, her uncle shot by a soldier, her sister abducted by sealers, and her fiancé brutally murdered by timber getters, who then repeatedly sexually abused her. In 1830, Robinson moved Nyunoni and Wurrady to Flinders Island with the last surviving Tasmanian Aborigines, numbering approximately 100. The stated aim of isolation was to save them, but many of the group died from influenza and other diseases. Nyunoni also helped Robinson with a settlement for mainland Aborigines at Port Phillip in 1838. After about 2 years of living in and around Melbourne, she joined Peve and 3 other Tasmanian Aborigines as outlaws, robbing and shooting at settlers around Dandenong and starting a long pursuit by the authorities. They headed to Bass River and then Cape Patterson. There, members of their group murdered 2 whalers at Watson's Hut. The group was captured and sent for trial for murder at Port Phillip. A gunshot wound to Nyunoni's head was treated by Dr. Hugh Anderson of Bass River. The 2 men of the group were found guilty and hanged on 20 January 1842. Nyunoni and most of the other Tasmanian Aborigines were returned to Flinders Island several months later. In 1856, the few surviving Tasmanian Aborigines on Flinders Island, including Nyunoni, were moved to a settlement at Oyster Cove, south of Hobart.